Look at you with your pretty background.
Yeah. Hold on, I got to get this screen there we go. Yeah, I am in my sunroom. I have had many meetings in a lot of different rooms from a lot of different angles, and this seems to be the best one so far.
Yeah, that was me when I realized this was going to be my new way of life. Everything that's on the wall behind me was on other walls in the kitchen.
Okay,
And
so
so
this works.
I made Tim do a complete, okay, no, we need to rearrange the wall behind me because it's the best wall. I'm not sitting in front of a window that's going to be a glare. And so, but now I really like it. Now I've got new things coming. I'm ordering more stuff to fill up my coffee wall.
Awesome. Very good.
And this one's for you.
Oh, cheers. I decided to go with a non-Kary Haun mug. This is from an artist in Louisiana. Her name is Barbara Donovan, and she makes the catacorn.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't he sweet? And here's yeah. So her animals are a little snarky, and I have another cup that has a possum chasing a taco.
Nice. Like snarky animals are the best animals.
This cat certainly is. So when do we how are we doing this? How does this even work?
So we'll do pretty much the same thing that we would do if we were sitting in the studio or pre-recording or doing it live. We'll still do the open, we'll do 10, 12 minutes, we'll pretend to take a break. Then we'll come back and do the last segment and wrap up and whatnot. The only difference, and this is totally up to you because some have said yes and some have said no, is I have been taking the Zoom conversations like from the very beginning with all the pre-show chatter and everything in between the breaks. I've been putting the Zoom videos up on our YouTube channel.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, so that way people can see what we talk about before we start recording and what we talk about during the breaks. And
nice.
It's been,
well, there's a lot to talk about.
Is there? Because I was a little worried.
I mean, well, I am worried about like the tourism content, like, there's a lot to talk about in terms of, there's a lot of businesses that have closed. There's a lot of businesses that are hustling to stay afloat. There's a lot of information on our website. I could talk a little bit about what all we've had to do as a tourism office to sort of do literally a 180 and stop telling people to come here, and like, don't come here. Awful. So, but yeah, stay home, and we look forward to seeing you when this all ends, and support your local businesses. That's pretty much what we have to say.
Okay. So now, do you know who's doing what? I mean, do you want to get in the weeds for any of the local stuff? I mean, we don't have to. Some people have, some people haven't. Some have been too afraid they'd leave somebody out, so they didn't want to mention anybody.
That is tricky, and especially since they kind of change daily. Their offerings change daily. Like there was a point where one restaurant was starting to do like take and bake meals, and they were really promoting that, but then they really couldn't keep up with it, because really what they need to do is they need to be able to support their servers. Well, you can't support your servers that way because your servers aren't in the kitchen making the meals. They just couldn't keep up. So you think that like, oh, well, this would be, they make great food, this would be an awesome opportunity, if people want take and bake meals, but it's just not what their business model is. So there's just challenges everywhere. But what we do have is we have a really awesome team in our office, and Brenda Black, I just can't say enough about how awesome she is. She has been on top of working from home. She has been on top of every single closing, every single like business that has changed their business model, like whether it's a restaurant or well, I mean, I don't know, I can't even think, restaurants that are only offering takeout or curbside pickup, things like that. Like, she knows exactly what they're all doing, and they're all on our website. So you can literally, we have a page on our website. If you go to visitshenandoahcounty.com, there's a tab that says COVID-19, and you click on that, and there's a comprehensive list of every restaurant that's open, whether or not they're closed, every tourism related business is listed there. And she
Cool.
has been doing that for the last several weeks.
Awesome. So that'll be good, because we can talk about that and point people in that direction. And a lot of places have really kind of, I'm pretty impressed with what a lot of the businesses have done. I mean, even ones that you wouldn't think of, that you would think would just have to close, have figured out a way to do curbside or online stuff. And I've never seen so many websites in the last 3 weeks go up with online shopping that weren't there 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really amazing. So yeah, and I mean, beyond that, like, I can talk to you about, I've been making masks. I've made probably 70 or so, and my daughter's been helping me. And so like, I have all I have some masks here that I've been working on, and I can show you my sewing table, and my dog's over there asleep, and I don't know.
We will wing it and figure it out as we go, because that is all I have been doing for weeks and weeks and weeks now.
Wonderful. And hopefully people want to hear us have a mundane conversation.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I wasn't sure what your plan was for like video, in terms of like, whether or not you were going to throw it up on the website or the YouTube. So I want you to know, this is the first time I've put on makeup in 1 month.
All I do is put on lipstick, and I'm still wearing pajamas from the waist down.
Waist down. I have some torn up jeans, studio jeans.
Yeah, my only thing that I've been trying to do, and I'm running dangerously low, I think by the end of this week, I may have to give up my trying to do it, is every time I've done a Zoom for the show that is going to go up on YouTube, I've tried to have a different orange coffee cup that I'm drinking out of.
Oh, yeah.
But
well,
I'm running low. I may have to start recycling by next week. I've been begging people on the air, if you have them, send them to the station or.
That's awesome. Are you doing any work at the station at all?
I haven't, so I've been in and out. I haven't done anything like the last live show I did was last Wednesday with Nikki, because she's in Front Royal at the Chamber. And my assumption is that Doug Stanley will want to do his show live next Monday, because he's in Front Royal. For the most part, it's either been this way over Zoom, or in a couple of cases, I've gone, like last week, I went to Clark County Government Center and sat in their conference room and interviewed all of them with Felicia to talk about their response to everything. And then last week, I also went to Luray, to the Chamber, and we recorded their show from last Wednesday. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to have a broader conversation, I guess, as we get into May, because once we've had this conversation, we can't have the same conversation again in May.
Exactly. So we'll things will change. We'll figure something out.
Oh yeah. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to reach out to Justin, because he'll be, Tourism Tuesday for Luray is next week, but I don't know what Gina's going to do, but Justin will be the week after. And I think I want to see how he feels about changing it a little bit from Tourism Tuesday to Takeout Tuesday.
Right.
And then we can talk about either restaurants or retail businesses or anything that has takeout options, and be a tourist in your own town as safely as you can with, that kind of stuff. So if that flies, I figure he's a good guinea pig. So if he can make it work, then we're in good shape.
Yeah. So we have but all of the people in the Strasbourg, you have Olivia Hilton, and you have Katie Mercer, and then Amber. They have all put together their own, their charts that have a list of all the restaurants, and then whether they offered, obviously none of them are offering dine-in, but for a while, Old Dominion Joggery was doing dine-in as long as it was like less than 10 people in the whole building. Like,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, that's so hard to manage. But like who's doing takeout, carry out, those sorts of things. So you can go to their websites and see a comprehensive list in sort of visual chart form.
Yeah, it's been fun. I went from being booked solid for the next 60 days
Yeah.
to having to figure out in a matter of hours, what am I going to do for the next day, and then the day after, and the day after, and next week, and next month, because so much of what I do is time sensitive and based on things that are happening that nobody can go to because they're not happening now.
Because because they've been canceled. I mean, you know, I had to go ahead and cancel the art tour, which we were going to talk about last week. We had 3 shows. You and I had 3 shows lined up in like within a 2-week period. We were going to do the opening of the 7 Bend State Park and the art tour and something else.
Yeah. Gardens, Galleries, and Grapes. Are you going to reschedule?
Right. I had pushed it to the end of May and then I just had to cancel it.
Okay.
It was supposed to be this weekend, and then I moved it to May 30th. And then when the governor said June 10th, I think is when. Yeah. Then I just canceled it altogether. But we're gonna look into maybe doing it where, you know how I would always have my holiday studio tour and it was just me and Susie at one point. It was just pottery. So I'm thinking about moving it so that we combine Gardens, Galleries, and Grapes with a fall show that is a holiday event, and then bring it back to the spring.
And then come back. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to go ahead and get started, and we'll see if we can at least knock out the first 10 or 12 minutes, and then we'll figure out where we go.
Let's do. Okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. As you are listening to this, it is Tourism Tuesday. However, it is a windy Monday afternoon that I am actually having a conversation with Kary Haun from Shenandoah County Tourism. We are on the screen together via Zoom. Kary, thank you for logging in and hooking up with me today.
I feel like this is my whole life now, as on the screen. I had Easter Sunday with my mom and dad, my brother and his wife, and we all sat here and had some screen time. And I know a lot of churches are having their screen time with Zoom, and that's really interesting. It's just an interesting dynamic. I don't know about fun, but it's an interesting dynamic for sure.
Well, and it's one of those things. I have, 2 really good girlfriends, and we all try to get together. Usually it's easier for 2 of us. Like Mary and I will connect when I'm in Old Town Winchester, and we'll have a coffee. And Tammy and I always get together and have breakfast a couple of times over the course of, a year. But for the 3 of us to get together is always difficult. And we were able to do that Saturday morning. We scheduled a Zoom. We all sat in our respective houses and drank our coffee and had a conversation with each other. And I thought, why in the world, even before all of this, did we not think about using something like this so we could all still connect and have a conversation and not have to do 2 to 2 or leave somebody out?
And it's remarkably easy. It's a really simple thing to do. And more so than a phone conversation. I don't know. We did something similar. We have some dear friends who live in Atlanta, and we sat and talked to them for 3 hours on Friday night, as if we were on vacation together, like we would sometimes do anyway. So I don't know. Maybe we'll end up doing more of this.
That's, and it's great for me because I get so many people that can't always come to the studio to do a show, and I'm not always available to go to them to record it in advance. And I have, so many people ask, can I call in? Can we do it over the phone? You've even had some guests that say, can we call in and do it over the phone? And I've always been hesitant to do a Valley Today show over the phone for a couple of reasons. And one of them is the phone audio always isn't that great. And I don't have access to the phone audio in the studio where we produce the Valley Today. But the other piece for me is I suck at talking on the phone because I talk all the time, and I don't know without looking at your face, are you done? Or am I interrupting you because you just said something that I have to jump in before I forget what I'm going to say? So Zoom is perfect because I get to see you, but we still get to have the conversation.
Yes, it certainly is good. And yeah, and I appreciate, because when we're in the studio, you definitely can read my facial expressions when I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the deer in the headlights, and it's like, oh,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to jump in now because she has lost her train of thought.
I'm so grateful for that.
So, how are things going with you tourism wise? I mean, it has ground to a screeching halt all up and down the Shenandoah Valley. What are you guys doing in Shenandoah County?
So one of the things that has been absolutely remarkable, and you would think that, okay, so, people aren't traveling anymore, or people are, hunkering down and staying home. And you would think that things would just slow down in the tourism office, but actually just up until right now, we have been so busy in our office. And now my job is a lot more of like the writing the messages and developing like the visuals and things to sort of put along with those messages. And I would have, a list of deadlines that are, print ads and things that I'm supposed to write for various, I don't know, blogs or whatever. And it's always, the theme is, come to Shenandoah County. Well, now 180-degree turn, we're saying, don't go anywhere. So it's been really, it's been very busy, really challenging. All of the deadlines that I had coming up in the last several weeks, we've had to craft a message, both, we can't wait to see you, and and all of these things, like from the state level all the way down to our local levels, like everybody's trying to figure out like what's the right message. And because it feels very irresponsible and dishonest to say we want you to come here, because we really want everybody to stay home. So our message is, stay home, and we'll see you when it's time, and we're really looking forward to it. In the meantime, probably the most important thing, because people are looking for something to do. What do I do with this time that I have to stay home? What do I do with myself to support my community and support local businesses? And some of the best things you can do is reach out and look for places that are offering takeout, and places that are offering really creative and interesting ways to keep their businesses afloat. And now there's a lot of information out there. If you own a small business, there's a lot of information about bank loans and other programs that should help you keep your business. And all of those can be found for Shenandoah County. Those can be found on our website. If you go to visit shenandoahcounty.com, you'll see that we've actually put a tab on our website that says COVID-19, and there is a long list of both places that are open and places that are closed, and places that you can call, and resources that you can go to find information about small business loans and grants.
I've done several Facebook Live shows, I guess you could call them, with Nikki from the Front Royal Chamber. And one of the things that I have been stressing in those, they're called Marketing Matters. And I've been talking about marketing options, and now is Marketing Matters now more than it probably ever has. But that's the key too, because all of these people who may have been planning to come to Shenandoah County are now sitting at home. And this is the perfect opportunity for a lot of those Shenandoah County businesses to put their best online foot forward. Because we all know, even if you plan a vacation or a trip, whether it's a weekend or it's a week, you never can squeeze in every single thing that you want to do in a particular location that you've come to. Now's the time to make sure that these businesses in Shenandoah County make the cut when somebody does finally come out, when we're on the other side of this.
Yes. Well, and some of them unfortunately have had to close temporarily, or had to, if they're, I'm thinking about like some art retail programs or businesses and things like that, because they're considered non-essential, that they were trying to at first offer some like takeout projects and things like that, and then have eventually had to close. So the options are getting slimmer for things to do while you're here. And so I guess really the best thing to do is, take a look and see what's open. And even just like looking on Facebook, there's a lot of businesses that are posting on Facebook about things that they're doing. and even sort of non-tourist businesses. And this is an interesting dynamic that's happening. A lot of businesses, and I wrote about this in a blog that can be found also on our website, and just went out into a tourism economic development newsletter this morning, about inspirational stories. And I have it in front of me, but like there's a real estate company in Strasbourg that donated funds to offer free coffee for all first responders. That was Abby Walters of Sager Real Estate. And then there's R.L. Schillenberg and Son Air Conditioning. They donated gift cards from the coffee shop, but also from Old Dominion Doggery for first responders and the police department. So there's other ways that even there's insurance company in Woodstock, I think, also donated that sort of like also like coffee for the Woodstock not fire and rescue, but Woodstock Police Department. And then I was up at the hospital and I saw the folks at Woodstock Cafe, and they were bringing in lunches for all of the hospital staff on that particular shift. And I asked about that, and they were like, yeah, we had an anonymous donor who donated lunch for this entire hospital shift. So there's a lot of really amazing things happening in our community. It's sort of uplifting to see how many people and organizations are stepping up to really make a difference.
And I love that you are reaching out and finding them, because that's the key for all of this too, is it is so easy for all of us. Later this week, I've got, as part of my Valley Health Community Health series, I've got someone that's going to do the show with me talking about mental health. Mm-hmm. And right now, when everybody is stuck at home or they are still having to go out, I think in a lot of cases, it's as stressful if you have to go to work every day as it is being cooped up in your house. Mm-hmm. And those are the stories, the warm fuzzies, and the just hearing how the community is coming together really can help somebody get through a tough day.
Yes. Well, and I'll tell you this. So I actually really struggle with staying organized when I'm at home. I have 2 teenagers. I have they'll be 17 and 18 next month. And fortunately, they've been really busy. They still have schoolwork that they need to work on. So they're really busy, but I mean, there's still lots of interruptions, and, the dog and the kids, cooking and cleaning and all of this stuff. So I struggle a little bit with like staying focused on work. I mean, I suppose I could go out to the studio, but honestly, what has really kept me sane and busy is making these masks for the hospital. The Valley Health put out a call, and actually, let me back up a little bit more. So Valley Health had put out a call for masks, and I had thought about making them before they put that call out. But the other thing is that there's so many patterns out there. So I waited to see like what the actual pattern was. Anyway, so I'll show you. I've got some masks here.
Yay. And for anyone who's listening, so what I'm doing with the Zoom conversations that I'm having, there is video that goes with these, and the link to the video on our YouTube channel will be up on the show notes page. So when Kary holds these up, I know on the radio, you're listening going, wait, I can't, what's happening right now? Right. But the video to be able to see these will be up on our YouTube channel. So Kary, show me the masks.
Oh, good. So, so these were the first ones I made because I was really excited to make them. See, this one has Superman on it, and I got this fabric because I have a brother-in-law who is a nurse down in Asheville, North Carolina. So I'm going to send him those. But I have this is my new fabric that I started working with. It has woodland creatures.
That is awesome. I had a show 2 weeks ago. Jenny Grooms came on the show with Ruth from Valley Maker Masks that has the Facebook group. And they walked me through why Valley Health was doing this so helpful campaign, 10,000 masks in 2 weeks.
Yes. So
we talked all about that.
Yes. So I donated 30 last week, and I'm working on it. My goal was 50. So I'm going to get the next 20 out there, maybe another 30 out there this week.
Nice. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can we talk a little bit about some of the events that you guys had scheduled that I know now have either been postponed, and just kind of talk about what you guys had to do in the moment when all of this started coming across? I know that you've got an amazing staff, and you kind of want to give a little bit of a shout out to some of them too. So can we do that when we come back?
Oh, most definitely. Yes.
All right, we are going to take a quick break. We are conversating. We are having a conversation today with Kary Haun with Shenandoah County Tourism via Zoom, and we're going to continue that conversation when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
All right.
And cut.
So, yeah, good to know, because I don't know where if I'm live or not,
I know.
or if I'm on the air.
And that's the cool part about the audio is it records everything. So I just go back in and cut out any of that for the radio show anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So do we have another full 10 minutes?
Yep, we have. So what do you want to cover in the next 10 minutes? You want to talk
Okay.
about Brenda?
Well, yeah, I'm going to talk about Brenda. How about I'll talk about art tour. There was art tour. I have to think about them offhand. There's that Earth Day. There was a history thing. I can't think of it. Like a World War II. There was Heritage Day. That was all happening, and then there was all happening like the same weekend, or maybe even the same day, this coming weekend. There was coming up, was it last week we were supposed to have the opening for the Seven Bend State Park?
I think so, because they were supposed to be on 2 weeks ago, which was going to be right before. And are they closed? Did they not open? I mean, what is?
I think they're. I probably shouldn't talk about it, because I think they're open, but they're not
open.
Like they just didn't have their big grand opening event.
Yeah.
I think you can go there and hike and see things. But now I understand that Shenandoah National Park is closed. They've just like closed all of their. What have they closed?
Yeah, they closed, I think, their parking lots, and you can't, last I heard, you couldn't even go on the drive. The drive was closed itself, so you couldn't even get in your car and go from point A to point B.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, no, I mean, even though we have assets here, like being able to, like, you can hike, but when you're finished hiking, there's nowhere to go eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or go have a beer or whatever. Let's see. What else was I going to talk about? I think that was it. That was it that like I had planned to talk about. Seven Bend State Park, Heritage Day, the art tour, Earth Day, and a World War II history event. And then I'll talk about Brenda and what she's been. I mean, you wouldn't believe. Look at this. So I just printed it from the website, and like there's that.
Oh wow.
And there's that, and there's that, and there's that. That's all the content of what Brenda has done in the last several weeks.
All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll come back and we'll start with the events, and then you can use that to kind of segue into Brenda and what she's doing, and then we'll kind of figure out how to wrap up with stay home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That, and I think for me, the biggest takeaway has been like, give everybody a break. We're all doing our best trying to figure out how to navigate this. And like when I see things, on social media where, somebody called them and, well, this person did that and they're not doing their social distancing right, Yeah, we're all trying to figure this out.
One of the things that I will tell you, and I don't know if this is for Brenda, I don't know if it has anything to do with any of you guys or not, but a couple of weeks ago, I had Victoria Kidd did a show. I think was it last Monday? I don't know. The days all blur together now. She owns Hideaway Cafe in Old Town Winchester.
Okay.
She is part of, it's a nationwide thing, and it's a website, and it's called serviceindustry.tips.
Okay.
She is the Winchester organizer. And basically what that is it is a website that lets you, if you're making dinner at home tonight, but you want to tip a server, you go to this website, and if you have a Venmo account or the Cash App account, she has gotten all of these servers from all over Winchester and Frederick County to put their information in there. So I can open up the app and say I want to tip somebody, and it opens up and it tells me somebody's first name and where they worked. So like last week, we made dinner at home and I opened up the app and tipped Vanessa, who was a server at Outback Steakhouse. And you can give $1, you can give $5, you can give $100. But she gets that money immediately in her Venmo or her Cash App account.
So that's something that I can pass along to Jenna to potentially open up to our restaurants here, or to announce to our restaurants here.
Yeah, I will send you Victoria's contact info. Okay. So she can walk you through, and the link to the show, so you can listen to, because I asked her in the show, how much work was it? How does it work? And all of that sort of stuff. But it's not even just for servers in restaurants. It's hair salons, anybody that you would normally tip in the service industry that you can't now, has the ability to be a part of this, and you can still do some small part, even if you're not out eating, sitting down somewhere in a restaurant.
Nice.
All right, so are we ready?
I think so.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are, as you're listening to this, it is Tourism Tuesday. However, we are recording it on a windy Monday afternoon. Kary Haun is on the screen with me from Shenandoah County Tourism. And if you are listening to this as we speak and want to see what we were talking about, as we went to break in the last segment, Kary was showing me some of the masks that she has been making as part of Valley Health's 10,000 masks in 2 weeks. So helpful campaign. The Zoom link that for our video is actually going to be in the show notes page. So head over to the river953.com, click the Valley Today banner on the front page, and it'll give you the link for the YouTube channel where some of the Zoom conversations that I've been having, you can watch the video. You'll get to hear this lovely conversation we just had during the break about what we're going to talk about in the next segment. So Kary, with that, I want to start with the events, because you probably more so than a lot of my other Tourism Tuesday guests, because Shenandoah County is so large, always have so many things going on. And now they've all they're not going on. They may go on later.
Right.
So what was that like, all of a sudden having to deal with all of these events getting postponed or canceled altogether?
Yeah, well, it seemed sort of inevitable at the time. I mean, I guess as the governor made announcements that, we needed to sort of do this social distancing thing, and, and that businesses shouldn't have more than 10 people, in a given space. And, once you have those sort of timelines in place, and I think the last call that he made was that June 10th, was that we were going to be doing this up until June 10th. And of course, I'm super aware of it, as my kids have been out of school since the middle of March. And so now it's been about a month. And, so actually making the calls really wasn't that challenging. Of course, I was supposed to come on the radio and speak with you last week about Art Tour, which is Gardens, Galleries, and Grapes, which we've changed the name of it to Art Tour, but that was, it is our big countywide art event that we've in our 7th year doing that. And I had, originally sort of put in some of the advertising that we would make like a rain date for May 30th, but we can't do that either. So when the governor says, June 10th is really, the date we need to be looking at, then it made sense to go ahead and cancel that event. Now we will, for the Art Tour, we're looking at maybe reopening it for a fall or winter date. So it's kind of, it's not ideal for the garden centers, but we do what we can, but we'll come back next year for the spring.
And then there were a ton of other things. I mean, there were a couple of history things. Earth Day.
We were supposed to meet several times at the beginning of this month to talk about Earth Day. That was a big event that was going to be happening with the organization that is called Sustainability Matters. They were doing a huge Earth Day event in downtown Woodstock, right outside the courthouse. That was happening and that got canceled. There was supposed to be a grand opening ribbon cutting event for 7 Bend State Park, which is, you know, that's a huge deal for the town of Woodstock and for Shenandoah County to have a state park in our region or in our locality.
Literally in your backyard.
Yes, exactly. So so that was going to be a huge deal, and we were going to have that grand opening. There were going to be so many people. And let's see, there was a World War II history event that was happening in the town of Woodstock. There was a Heritage Day history event happening throughout the county at some of the museums. And, you know, those were just things happening that weekend. So and actually, I think that was supposed to be this coming weekend. And then, you know, from there, you know, this is the time of year where the events really start piling up. So, you know, we're hopeful for the summer, but we just have to sit back and wait and see. And literally, this has kind of been the order of the day is, you know, see something coming and hope that you can take a swing at it and, you know, react to it in a positive way and, you know, make the best of the situation. And I will tell you that I'm just so proud of our office, and I'm so, I'm just like so in awe of what the people that I work with were capable of and how they handled all of this. Jenna, for example, has been interpreting and deciphering all of the content that has come from the state in terms of, you know, what businesses and what loans are different businesses are eligible for. And she's literally like breaking all of that stuff down and deciphering it and putting that out to the community. So she really has to understand it, and it still changes all the time. And then Brenda has been working from home, and she has been putting together a comprehensive list of everything that is happening in terms of you know, what businesses are open, which ones require you to call ahead, looking at what businesses are offering curbside takeout. Some of our wineries are offering curbside takeout as well and delivery. Like for, you know, so for example, North Mountain Muse Vineyard, Ridge Runner Farms, the brewery there, Shenandoah Vineyards, Siblings Rivalry, all of them, Star in the Valley, Swiver Creek Farms, they're all offering some type of either takeout or delivery. So it's not just the restaurants that are offering those things. So yeah, and I've left out, it looks like all of our wineries. And then, you know, and then she's also listed businesses that are open, businesses that are closed, things that are available to do, like walking trails and golf courses. Some of those are still open. Fort Valley Ranch horseback riding, for example, is still open. So, I mean, you can do some serious social distancing on horseback.
No doubt.
Right?
It's still not going to,
but, you know, with caveats, you want to look at their website, you want to call ahead and see what you need to be prepared for.
And all of that is on your website, right?
Yes. And that's what Brenda has been doing. It's amazing. And I have it all printed out, and it's 4 pages long. So if you go to our website, it's visitshenandoahcounty.com, and then you'll see there's a tab up there that says COVID-19, and you just click on that, and there's all that information there, including a blog that I wrote that is just about some of those inspirational stories about businesses that have really stepped up to help our first responders and our hospitals. And our distillery is making hand sanitizer, and that's awesome. You know, so it's cool. It's cool. Our community steps up.
So before we wrap up, you touched on this briefly in the first segment about not being a very focused work from home person. And I'm going to hold this up for the people that are going to watch us later on Zoom. They can see my Kary Haun original coffee mug that I am drinking out of today. Have you managed to get into the studio at all? Is that still a good escape for you to go and just create and get away from the office and the kids?
That's interesting. It's good. It's a good question. Actually, no. I made a handful of things that were just before this whole crisis started. And I had to change. I had to just switch gears. I had to start making those masks. It requires, for me, I turn off the TV, all of the music, and I can just sort of go into this like little place in my head. Whereas the studio is work, and it can be stressful. And then the stress of not knowing like how I will be able to move these cups, and I mean, not having shows. All of my spring shows are canceled. So I will get back in the studio. I'm itching to get back now. I needed that sort of time and space, and I've seen other artists. A lot of my other artist friends are working. So for me, it's been a little bit of a balance. And then when else do I get to spend this much time with my kids? And I'm just kind of loving that. They don't drive me crazy
yet. But and if they haven't done it by now, you should be in the clear, quite frankly.
I mean, it's been a month. So.
Yeah.
And they're busy too. They've got their things that they're doing. So, but also like doing some house projects, and we did some demolition. So,
okay then.
Yes.
Well, on the demolition note, we are going to wrap up today's episode of Tourism Tuesday. We have been having a conversation with Kary Haun from Shenandoah County Tourism. She is on the screen. We have been chatting via Zoom today. And again, if you want to watch the Zoom video, it will be on the Valley Today's page, on the show notes page for today's show. It is already up there. So I've been really good about when I record these shows, a day or two in advance, of making sure that the links and everything, as you were listening to it on the air, it is already there. So you can go and see, because we're going to finish and wrap up the show now, and we're probably going to talk for another 5 or 10 minutes. And yes. You get all of the conversation when you go and watch it on our Zoom video for YouTube. But Kary, thank you for taking some time out of your afternoon to continue to have the conversation with me. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, it's a highlight for me.
We'll be back tomorrow. I am having a conversation with Deanna Cheatham. She is the director of Warren County Department of Social Services. It is, and I hope I got this right, Child Abuse Prevention Month. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on the air. So meet me back here a few minutes after noon, and I will have that show teed up and ready to go for you. And we're clear.
Sweet.
Yay.
Very good. No, I will say this as about working at home. I keep my work email up on my computer here, and so I'll be over there working on a mask, and then I'll hear it ding, and I'll come over and I'll react to something, and that's actually a really good way for me to I get a lot done that way, because just sitting here at the computer and working for hours and hours and hours, I really need to be in the office to do that. So yeah. I get stuff done as long as I create little deadlines for myself, and
that's been the toughest thing for me is work. And I knew this because I worked at home long before I did the radio show. It's very hard for me to sit anywhere in my house and focus on what is on the screen when I know there are dishes in the sink or there is laundry waiting to be done. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to work for an hour, and then I'm going to take 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes turns into getting the dishes done. And I'm going to make a cup of coffee, and I'm just going to watch a few minutes of television. And now suddenly an hour is lost, and Tim's on his way home, and I still haven't edited the show that needs to go in the system for the next day. And now I'm working at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And yeah, that's been the toughest thing for me, trying to figure out how to balance all of this stuff.
That was a discipline that when I was just working in the studio full time, that was a discipline that I had to really, really get past, walking past the dirty dishes. And it's, and just say you're going to work, and that's what you're doing. You're not trying to do both. And now that we're in this weird situation, I find myself like a complete idiot. I don't know what to do from one minute to the next. I feel so
Well, I am definitely breaking all the articles that I've read keep saying that you should keep as much of a work routine as possible. You should still get up at the same time every morning and take your shower and get dressed. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, that's way out the window. Not to mention the fact that I can't get a haircut.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I have to use some product and slap it down because it's all.
By the time we roll around in May, you're going to show up to do the show, and you're going to have a baseball hat on your head or something just because.
It's going to be a mess. Yes, absolutely.
All right, my dear. Well, this will air tomorrow. Thank you so much, and go enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll check in with you in a couple of weeks, and we'll figure out what we're doing and how what's going to happen for May. I mean,
I feel like the rules are going to change next week. Like everything's going to be different.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be different, and I don't think it's ever going to be the same. I really don't think, and I don't think that suddenly there's going to be this national announcement that says, hey, tomorrow morning at 8:00, everything opens back up. I do not in any way think that's how this is all going to play out.
No, honestly, I don't either.
And that may be good. I mean, because can you imagine what a scramble that would have to be for a lot of these businesses that have been closed and what they're going to, so I don't know. We'll figure it out and take it as it comes, I guess.
Sure enough. That's kind of what haven't we?
Yeah, because what other choice do we have?
Exactly. Oh, my friend.
I will talk to you later.
Sounds great.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.